Got it. Hey guys, good morning and welcome to the first leadership Zoom of the new quarter, Q3, the biggest quarter of our year. And we have got a special treat for you guys right now. Check out, guys, so Mr. Dillon Buck has graced us with our presence. It's 6 a.m. The sun is just coming up out where he leaves. So if we think we're up early at 8, think again. Guys, check out these credentials. Dillon is the number 2 for all-time first-year producer with a family heritage history with $507,000 in premium in his first year. Wrote $500,000 his first year. Wrote over $1 million of premium in 2 years. So that tells you his second year was pretty doggone close to his first year. So far, he's the number 3 all-time agency builder in lifetime premium. Goal is to be the number 1 agency builder all time before moving to agency owner, which in all fairness could have happened easily a year plus ago. In his first year, which was 9 months, started in April, he finished number 2 in the whole company in sales. His team in the first 9 months that year did 1.7 million. So in all fairness, if you just look at it, just the numbers, could have been an agency owner after 9 months. So if you're talking about an opportunity, guys, we've all got a heck of an opportunity right here in front of us. The year 2, which was last year, he was number 3 in sales, 3 or 4, right around there. Team did 3.9 million. So just to put that in perspective, that is significant. I believe that's it's almost as much as our 2 agencies did together last year. So not too shabby. Year 3, this current year, personal sales, no matter what, he will write $400,000 in premium. And shouldn't shock you that at the halfway point, he is at $209,000. So right at halfway, on track, as we would call it, after 2 quarters. Team production goal this year is 6 million. And guess what? What do you think his team's done the first half of the year? 3 million. That's exactly right. $3 million.
For 3 million.
Guys, that's called just getting on track and staying on track. You don't have to scramble when you stay on track. That's pretty cool. And his best week so far for his career so far as personal sales is $44,000 in premium. Best team week for Elevated Financial is $303,000 in net annualized premium. Flex it, Kyle, for him. So guys, without further ado, let's give a hearty Schneider Agency and Davenport Agency leadership team welcome to the incredible, the incomparable, the amazing Dillon Buck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys for having me. Like Van said, it is 6 a.m. here. The sun is about to rise. It's my favorite part up here. We've been up here for getting close to 5 months now, and every single morning it's been different. And just in terms of the view outside and the sunrise. So it's awesome. So love being up at this time. But I don't know if I'm talking to a bunch of field directors, a bunch of market directors, a bunch of regional directors, people that have been stuck at field director for a long time, people that have been stuck at market director for a long time, or regional director for a long time. But regardless of what the case is, whether people have moved through the career track really fast, or if it's taken you longer to get to where you want to go than what is ideal. I would say the most common thing that I've seen for people that stay in one spot is a lack of vision, right? So people have to know what they want. What do you want, right? Do you want to build a $5 million business? Do you want to build a $20 million business or a $100 million business? Do you want to travel the world, right? What is it that you actually want to do with your life? What do you want to accomplish? Who do you want to be? I'm someone that's very, very, when Van asked me to speak on this morning, I figured I would talk a little bit about recruiting, but ultimately what helps us get to a high level of recruiting. And I have a lot of conviction that is just having a very clear vision, right? I know that our endurance in this career, if you guys have listened to the podcast at all, then you know that I've talked about this a lot, but our endurance in anything is in direct proportion to the size and the clarity of our vision, right? So how big is your vision and how clear is your vision? I'm a big fan of vision boarding. So I'm actually just going to share the vision board that I've created And then just kind of share with you guys also some of the things that have been able to come to fruition because my vision is very clear and I know what I want to accomplish. I know what I'm going after. Van, if you wouldn't mind giving me the sharing capability, just making me host real quick, and I'll give it back to you. That'd be awesome.
Todd, you good with that? Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. So actually, real quick, just by a show of hands, how many people on here have a vision board? Couple, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. So if you don't have one, I would encourage, you can just download Procreate on your iPad. You can collage a vision board. It's an awesome app, or you can print stuff out and, glue stuff on. Taking the time to actually create something that brings clarity to what you're actually wanting to accomplish is huge. And when you know what you want and you know what you're going after, you tend to be the kind of person that it takes to get to that place. And then all of a sudden you're attracting the right people that it takes to get there as well. And that's recruiting. So let me, again, just go ahead and share my screen. All right, where's photos? So I've got this is just the B page of my vision board. All the things that I really want to embody as a man, as a husband, as a future father, as a friend, business partner, all of those things. I want to be someone who's service-minded, loving, courageous, kind, gentle, calm, poised, passionate, a communicator, someone who's strong and giving, someone who's great. I want to be great. I want to be I want to be the best leader that I possibly can be. I want to be someone who's generous, not someone who just earns a lot, but somebody who gives a lot. I want to be someone who's bold. I want to be a difference maker. I want to be a best-selling author. So I would encourage you to, when you're coming up with these things that you're looking to accomplish, when you're coming up with these visions of where you ultimately want to go, I would encourage you to think as big as you possibly can and really figure out what the best version of you looks like, and then define that on paper, because it's really hard to get anywhere meaningful if you don't know what that meaningful place is, right? It's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you're going. It's hard to get where you're going if you don't know where you're going. My wife and I want to travel all over the world. I've been fortunate. I've got to travel to over 36 countries in 6 different continents. So that's been a big part, I think, in the perspective that I've been able to gain in terms of just realizing that nothing that we go through on any given day is that big of a deal. I want to rent a really cool house in different parts of the world and then pay for the house and just invite friends annually to come and stay there and just have really good quality time. I want to be a best-selling author or write a best-selling book. That's the do part of it. And then when it gets into have, there's what I love. One of the things I love about Family Heritage and the opportunity that we are sitting in right now is the opportunity to do whatever you want. Passion projects, 10, for some of you guys probably could already do it 5, 10, 15 years from now for some of us, right? Depending on what the situation is. But I've had a really, a goal for a long time of building kind of a retreat center. So that's what this top thing is here. If you see it kind of, whether it's one building or a couple buildings built into a mountain, the first floor would be a high quality, high-end gym, nutrition club, dietitian, meal plan, skate park, offices. Second floor would be yoga, meditation, mindfulness coaching, art studio, painting, lithography, pottery, float tanks, stuff like that. Want to have a skate park that's a replica of the skate park that I grew up with in Aspen. Third floor would be personal development, podcast studio, counseling, therapy, financial literacy. Outside, we want to have, a cold plunge, 40-degree water, and then some different natural hot springs that run into it, next to it. So, and then yurts all over the property. One of our buddies wants to do permaculture on this piece of property. And just, my goal is to build all of my best friends' dream career into one place. And not even dream career, but dream hobby, because I mean, most of the people that I partner with have a vision of staying. I don't really think most of them envision themselves not being a part of family heritage at any point. So I just think the impact that we get to have here is awesome. And then having passion projects that you're excited to build for is also pretty fun. So, I just imagine how, these people that we deal with in family heritage, whether they're going through a cancer battle or just the hardest time of their life, having a retreat center where they can go and just completely shut off. There'd be no cell phone service in this place, and just, just actually experience peace in the last days of their life for, someone, regardless of what the situation is. Health and wellness has always been something I've been super passionate about. So that is one of the business ventures that I will eventually undergo. But here on the left, I've got these are all the things that 3 years ago I put on or probably 2 years. Yeah. 3 years ago, I put on a vision board for the things that I wanted to have. Right. So my sauna gets here in like 2 or 3 weeks. So I couldn't be more excited for that. Plunge pool gets here in August. That's already ordered. It just takes a long time to get here. A cool, unique home that was on the vision board. So right now I'm sitting in a very cool, unique, custom built house. Family ended up building it for themselves. It didn't work out, and we got to swoop it up for a pretty cool deal. A great view. We have an amazing view. And one thing that was wild that brought me to tears like a year ago, I might even do it right now. This right here, the great view, has mountains and water in it. I didn't even really realize that. When I was picking the picture, on Google or whatever that had a great view, it just happened to have mountains and water in it. And our view has mountains and water from, a few of our windows. So it's wild. Rivian, I decided against the Rivian truck because I don't think I'm ready for an electric car yet. I don't think the infrastructure is quite there yet. A cool home gym. I've got a beautiful home gym downstairs. Home archery. So I was going to build one in the backyard, but across the lake, there is a full 3D archery range. Meditation room. I've got my kind of Zen area set up right out here. When it's summer, we'll be doing it out next to the sauna and the cold plunge. My wife's going to be building a greenhouse and garden and stuff like that. And then all the things, friends, family. When I was growing up, there was a kid that we knew I don't know if you guys know who Chrissy Everett is. She's actually going through a cancer battle right now, so pray for her. But she won Wimbledon. I grew up with her kids. Her kids are awesome. They were super good skateboarders growing up. But they had a personal chef that would come over to their house and cook us dinner sometimes. And I think that'd be really cool to have a personal chef. For our leadership retreat, we're going to bring a personal chef over to the house. Lake Powell. I don't know if anybody on this call has been to Lake Powell, but it's amazing. I would like to eventually have a houseboat or partial ownership in a houseboat. But the point that I'm trying to get across is I know who I want to be. I know the things that I want to do, and those are consistently expanding. I know the things that I want to have, and I'm willing to work for them. And here we go. Here's a view out of my bathroom window. That's one of the sunrises. Again, they've been different every single morning. And we've got a great view that was on my vision board. This was stuff that was really important to me from every angle that we got. This is just right behind me right now. So, but in terms of the things that actually, and I know this doesn't really sound like it's about recruiting, but I promise this is everything to do with recruiting. In terms of the things that really allow me to stay consistent, I guess, in my effort, my willingness to, I guess, persist through challenges and through, as everybody on this call knows, if you guys are in leadership is falling in love over and over and over again and getting your heart broken just as many times. Hopefully not quite as many times as you do fall in love, but that's just how it works, right? There's people that we hear their story and we really want to believe in them. We're willing to do whatever it takes to help them succeed. And for whatever reason, they just fall off, or, they say they're hardworking, and when push comes to shove, they're not willing to work hard or whatever. But one of the things that keeps me going is I used to have, I sold books when I was on the book field. I used to have this visual of, I'll come back here for a second. I used to have this visual of like a bunch of people that I really respect and admire, sitting around a poker table. And then I don't know if you guys have seen that movie Eagle Eye, but with Shia LaBeouf is in there, and you can see like literally every camera, you can see every person, what every person is doing. And I just pictured all of these people that I respect and admire sitting around this poker table and literally throwing bets. And all the bets that were thrown down were based on the people that had the best attitude and were putting in the best effort the most consistently. So I pictured that they could see me at all times, and I was just grinding to be the one that they would consistently bet on. And so now I've created a new Eagle Eye table for myself, also on this app Procreate, and that's something that I review all the time. So let me share this again. All right, so here it is. So some of the people that I respect and admire, some of the people that have had just amazing impacts throughout the world and throughout time, whether that be Nelson Mandela or Michael Jordan or Jesus or Abraham Lincoln. Most of these people that are on here, phenomenal examples of what it is to be a leader. Buddha. There's my grandma's on there. She's has so many different. My grandma is such a badass. She went to Harvard, back in the day when, men and women were split up. Still one of the sharpest people on this planet. And she's like 89 years old, about to turn 90. She's the one right underneath my wife on the right side of the screen. And since I was a kid, I've admired Martin Luther King so much, and just the things that he was willing to fight for, and I guess all the risk that he was willing to go through to get to where he's gotten. But this is something that just keeps me going and keeps me motivated. Just thinking about all the people that I respect, all the people that I admire, and thinking about, if they could see me in the field or in a recruiting conversation, or in, my downtime, how would I want to be operating? Right? What are the things that I would want to be doing if all of these people could see me and we're, just playing poker, betting on me or betting on someone else? And then in order to keep me, I would say that all the things that I get to do and I get to have, for me, there's simply feedback for how closely aligned I am with the person that I want to be. If I'm getting the things I want to have, that's feedback that I'm doing some things right. Because it's easy for me to think about all the things that I'm doing wrong, just being, we're all high achievers. It's easy to be very self-critical. So I play mind games to just, keep myself operating at a high level and remind myself, just allow myself to just kind of review the things that I already do have, rather than think about things that I don't yet have. So this right here, this is something that I read in the shower every morning, just to kind of set my mind and my heart in the right place to go out and recruit and lead at a high level, or at least at the highest level that I know how to so far. So I live my life to empower others to reach their God-given potential, to rise above adversity and fear, and truly know what it is to serve others. I get to embrace the inevitable yet temporary struggles that are a part of life. I do all of this daily through a lifelong commitment to be the example. I do my dead level best to lead others as my Creator leads me. I'm a loving, service-minded, courageous leader, and I will, I'm going to hit my goals today, this week, this year, and in life. And so it is. So it's hard for me to, when I read this in the morning, it sets me up to be a different guy than when I don't read this in the morning. It's a great reminder for me when I am having conversations with people, just the impact that I want to have on people and the impact that this career can have on people. So when you show up again, when you show up as the right person, you tend to attract the right people. And, if you're attracting good people, it's worth doing the uncomfortable things to set an example that's actually worth following. Right. So if you have a massive vision, here, I'll come back out of this. Sorry. Here we you go. But yeah, if your vision is to have a massive impact, right, you tend to expect to have many more than 2 to 3 direct recruits in a quarter, right? And we tend to get what we expect and are willing to actually work for. So I would say that, for me, when it comes to hitting, whether it's field director, market director, regional director, or beyond, it comes down to just a daily willingness to put in the, do the things that you don't necessarily want to do. And if you're stuck at, field director, and I don't know if you've been there, maybe you've been there for one quarter, or maybe you've been there for 2 years or 5 years, maybe same thing for market director or regional director. The, that 4% jump from 50% to 54% makes a really, really big difference over the course of time. That 8% jump from field director to regional director also makes a really, about twice the difference over time. And it's worth putting in the work to reap the financial rewards, to be able to actually go out and do and have the things that you're working for. So some of the action steps that I take on a daily basis, outside of just reading my vision, reviewing my vision board, reminding myself what I'm actually working for, and then telling other people what I'm working for. We've come up with, and I think Van has a picture of these, but we made these recruiting cards. So they've just got elevated financial, they're pretty sleek, and they've got a QR code with our career overview video on the back. But if I meet a sharp person in the field, you best believe they're getting a recruiting card. And it's my results in terms of just the effectiveness that I've had in the field recruiting, because of having recruiting cards and just that process, that exchange, feeling a little bit cooler, has been, it's been really good. I went into a car dealership, and right now it was being really run by Bobby, who's just a stud. He's played in the NFL for the Chargers. And then the other location was run by this guy, Jake, who played D1 football. They both know what it is to work hard, to grind, to sacrifice. And I just sat down, had a conversation with them. They were capped at about 120 grand. And they knew they were never going to move past that. They were doing like 4 or 5 people's jobs. So they both just wrote their first Eagles, their second weeks in the field last week. And then we talked to another guy, Kevin, who's out in California. He's capped at about $305,000 a year, never going to be earning more than that. So we just got to paint the picture for him. I just walked into, I bought a suit a few weeks ago because my wife really wanted me to have something for black tie events. I'll wear whatever, but she wants me to wear something that's more, more fitting. So we went and got me a suit, and the guy that was selling me a suit was just a sharp, really kind, just good dude, that carried himself really well. It was a good experience. And he's like, I was like, hey, how you guys doing here? And I was just talking about the store in general, because I haven't seen too many people in there, but they're really nice suits. And he started talking about the other people that work there. He's like, yeah, some of these guys are making like 6 figures. And I was like, I just planted the seed. I was like, well, if you want the potential to make 10 to 30 times that plus, let's talk. And I handed him a recruiting card, and, that was cycling through his head for about a week, got on the phone with him. He's studying for his exam right now. So these, just being willing to reach out to people everywhere you go, my goal is to have 3 direct recruits every week. So if your goal is to have 2 direct recruits a week or 3 direct recruits a week, you're probably going to have at least 2 or 3 for the quarter, but if you're not willing to think big, if you're not willing to think bigger than it's comfortable, then, what are you doing? If your goals don't scare you a little bit, they're probably not worth going after. So that's most of the stuff that I had just kind of written down to hit on, but more than happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Dillon, not a question, but man, you just your goals and how clear you have a vision, it really inspires me. and really kind of lights a fire underneath me to kind of create those goals and have a set, plan on what path I want to follow. And because I just feel like I'm wandering right now, and gotta know some destination. So might as well make that destination big and chase for it. So thank you. That was really awesome.
Heck yeah. Thanks for sharing, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
Hey, Dillon, right on here.
Real quick. Just remember this. This is just a constant self-talk. Your endurance in anything is in direct proportion to the size and the clarity of your vision. So constantly make it bigger and constantly make it more clear. Sorry, whoever was that, Ryan?
Dillon, will you say that again?
Yeah, your endurance is in direct proportion, and your endurance in anything, right? Marriage, fatherhood, motherhood, business. Your endurance in anything is in direct proportion to the size and the clarity of your vision.
Dillon, can you mention that the name of that app again? Was it Procreate?
Procreate. Yep.
Procreate.
It's got a little like paint swoosh on it.
Oh, Procreate Pocket.
What'd you say?
Man, you can't really see it. It's called Procreate Pocket. Is that right? Sketch and paint.
Josiah's got it. That's the one.
Josiah, send me a picture, please.
Hey, Dillon, Brad Phillips here. Number one, I appreciate the mess out of you being on the call this morning. Golly, dude. I appreciate your vision and sharing that with us. It's powerful, extremely powerful. So thank you. Question, what's your schedule like every week, man?
Yeah. So you mean like, well, it's different. Honestly, it's different every week. So I've got right here a list that I made on Sunday of all the things that I want to accomplish this week. So I'll just read them to you so you got an idea of the things that are on there, because it's not all directly pertaining to work. We're going camping this weekend, so I got to figure out if I can pick up my buddy AJ's trailer on Friday or if I have to pick it up on Saturday. I got to return an air conditioner that has to plug into a window, pick up a chair in Salt Lake City, switch all of Courtney's accounts to a certain account. It's our buddy Armin's birthday. Got to call an electrician for this sauna and the plunge pool, cord hiders for our gym, for our speaker and stuff like that. Let's see. We're getting to the work stuff. We're going to get 30 career overviews out. Courtney's going to clean her desk, sell 5,000 to 10,000 personally, sitting at 9,900 right now. I got to get a remote for our blinds, schedule a time with the person that we're bringing on as an additional caller, recruit 3 people, and then record a new episode on the podcast. So I just pretty much write down all the things that I know we need to get done. And then every single day, I just am checking things off. But when I get all of those things completed, right, some of those things take a lot of time, whether it's getting 30 career overviews out, or recruiting 3 people, or selling 5,000 to 10,000, or, recording a new episode or whatever. Some of those take a lot more than just like a check mark bullet point, like returning an air conditioner. Right. But those are all the things that I'm going to accomplish this week. And when I check out, I'm an achiever personality type. So I love just checking boxes. Sometimes I will write down stuff that I've already done just to check it off. It fills me with joy. So I just know what I want to accomplish every week. And then I'm just checking off the boxes to make sure everything gets done. So it looks different every week, but I fit in the stuff that I need to fit in. Like, those are essentially my rocks for the week. So I just fit everything in wherever it makes sense. Generally speaking though, Monday, Tuesday for me are selling. And if I can get in more days than that, it's awesome. But otherwise my days are filled up with recruiting and just putting out fires in our agency, our team, and stuff like that.
And like Dr. Phil a little bit.
Dr. Dill.
Yeah. Dr. Dill, there you go. I guess more so like you're, kind of obviously I know you get up pretty early in the mornings and all that. I guess like, your start and stop time as far as in the field, I'm going to be first calls are going to be at this time. I'm going to be at my first call at this time out in the field, and I'm stopping at this time. I guess like what's just like a day in Dillon's life as far as, because obviously you're a very organized person, and I would imagine you have a pretty set schedule as far as, when you're doing these other things outside of work, and also, during the day when it's, your hourly schedule, and it's when to get things done that are related to family heritage.
Yeah. I mean, fortunate, I really enjoy most of the stuff that we do in family heritage. Obviously there's some stuff that I don't necessarily like doing all the time, but it's, for me, I'm whether it's on Voxer, just making sure that, fun stuff is going out, or, we're building something that's really fun, and it's fun to be a part of. It's fun to be reaching out to people that are on the team all the time. So maybe some things that people would view as work, I'm just viewing as like things to, enjoy myself. Being out in the field, if I'm in the field, it's usually, 9 to 5, unless I've got interviews. If I'm scheduling interviews or not, at 10 a.m. for my working days, that they're going to be at like 4 o'clock. So I can get a solid work day in. But, I want to make sure that, as a regional director, our business is going to do 6 million this year. And I still want to make sure that I'm producing 400,000. So I'm going to get it in the field enough to make sure that I hit that goal. Just so I'm leading by example for all the people that I get to partner with.
So Dillon, every Sunday night, do you sit down and write out what you need to accomplish for the week every Sunday?
I would say that I am not perfect in that, but yeah, most of the time it really is helpful for me to know exactly what I'm going to accomplish going into the week.
I like the mixture of, as all of us are, we have lives outside of work. So I like your mixture of, hey man, I'm going to write down my personal things that need to be accomplished too. As you get older, at my age, man, it's hard for me to remember what I'm supposed to pick up at the grocery store, but from when I leave the house to get there. So I need to do a better job of that. That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if that's an old thing, but I do the same thing.
Hey, Dillon.
That might be have a lot going on thing. Yeah.
Hey, real quick. Hey, so you have a beat schedule, man. What does your workout routine look like? Like, when do you work out? What time? Do you have a set time you work out each day? Like, I know you got several different things at your house. Like, what does that kind of look like, your workout routine?
Yeah. So typically, I've got every morning of the week, I've got a call at 7 a.m. So typically I'm waking up, reading morning devotional, reading a little bit of a book. And then I'd make my coffee, have my morning oats and stuff like that. And then on the call, if I'm running the call, then obviously I'm not in the gym. Sometimes I'm on the call while I'm in the gym, just with it in my headphones. And that's what I'm focused on while I'm working out. And like, for example, yesterday, woke up, did my reading, went straight down to the gym, and then went straight to got a couple things done at the house, and then went straight to the field, worked through an enrollment, and then came back home and went for a jog. It's nice to be outside, and the view is great. So that's typically what it'll look like, is just trying to stay as active as I can. One thing that's important for me to remind myself constantly is that obviously rest is important, but we gain energy by using energy, not necessarily by resting all the time and doing nothing. So when I go for, when I work out in the morning and I'm super energized for the day, when I come home and I go for a jog, I'm really energized for the rest of the evening to be present with my wife. Yeah, that's been really, really good. But yeah, typically I'm working out 6 days a week, got a rest day, and just doing all the things that are really important to check the boxes.
What time are you up every day, Dillon?
6 a.m. This morning was 5:30. Thank you, Van. But happy to do it. There was a time where I was getting up at 4 a.m., but I told Van yesterday, it just wasn't sustainable for me to go to bed at like 8 p.m. So there's a lot of things that I can get done in that time where it's just like total Dillon time. And I am a full on extrovert or introvert, learned extrovert. So having like that me time just recharge and fill up is really good.
Dillon, just curious, how much TV do you think you watch in a week?
Courtney and I will probably watch a movie a week. And then sometimes, I don't know if you guys watch Peaky Blinders, but sometimes we'll watch an episode of Peaky Blinders.
Watched an episode last night.
Not that impressed with the new season so far, man. It's a lot of deep emotion. You know what I mean? It's not the same Tommy.
It's different.
It's
So-
not.
It's on me.
So
Different stage of life, you know?
so the average movie's 2 hours plus an episode. So you're saying probably 3 hours a week, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably 3 hours. I mean, that includes the weekends. So probably about 3 hours a week.
The funny thing for me when you say that, Dylan, is it takes my wife and I a week to watch just an hour show, because we'll watch like 15 minutes and then go to
And fall asleep.
20 minutes. And go to bed.
I'm with you.
That's because Todd is up at 4 o'clock every morning working out.
Getting up early. Hey, Dylan, question for you, man.
Yeah.
So I know you're a high achiever, very, very impressive accolades, very clear, definitive goals and vision for yourself. Can you call upon a time in this career specifically where you might have stumbled across a slump, especially for people in here who have? What did that look like for you? And how did you level up to push through that and be reminded, refine and redefine your goals to really be like, no, this is my purpose, and get past that?
Man, I go through, I mean, I don't really view them as slumps, but I go through what people would define as slumps all the time. If you guys have listened to the episode on the podcast, Mastery, that's what I always mentally refer back to when I'm in one of those phases where I'm just like, gosh, I don't know what to do. There's a lot on my plate at any given time. And the best thing that I know how to do is persist through the challenges for that temporary yet frustrating time until my plate just gets bigger. And all of a sudden that stuff becomes automatic and becomes a part of my habitual behavior system and all that kind of stuff. So Mastery, George Leonard, if you haven't read the book, it's a phenomenal book. But he talks about just the idea of this kind of master's curve, right? Which is the beginning of things, we're typically really excited about them. In the beginning of family heritage, how much money you can make, what the opportunity is, there's upward mobility and there's no really limits on what you can earn. That you can make a big impact and the product is awesome. So people are generally really excited at the beginning, and that allows us to hit an upward surge. But inevitably, at some point, when all of those things that we're, learning or supposed to know, we realize we don't know, we kind of level off and then experience a slight decline followed by a plateau, right? And this plateau is usually what we view, either that decline or the plateau is usually what we view as that rut or this thing that's just frustrating, or we feel like we're stuck or we're in a brick wall or whatever. But the plateau is really just and this is what George Leonard talks about. The plateau is just an opportunity to practice everything that you learned in the upward surge and make it a part of your habitual behavior system. Because once it becomes automatic, all of a sudden we're ready for that next upward surge. But one of the things that's very much so inhibits us from actually, really practicing this master's journey is the path of the endless climax, which our society very much so promotes, right? Which is just, whether it's with social media or whatever, we see like everybody's success after success or climax after climax after climax after climax of all these amazing things that are happening. And then we compare our plateau to everybody else's climax, right? So, and then all of a sudden, because we're plateauing, we think there's something wrong with the plateau. We resist the plateau. So people either give up, they fight the plateau and resist it so hard that they eventually burn out or fall off, or they just get complacent and they stay at field director or market director or whatever forever, or they choose the master's journey. And even though there's a lot of plateaus in the master's journey, the general trajectory of it is up over time. And we have a lot of these frustrating times that can be frustrating or can be just like, awesome, this is my time to practice this new skill. I feel blessed with my opportunity to practice this new skill. It takes practicing mindfulness a lot to actually be willing to view those plateaus as practice as opposed to frustration. But it's worth paying attention to where you're at any given moment, recognizing, where you are in comparison to where you want to go, and then being willing to practice for the sake of practice. And then eventually, inevitably you'll get there. So hopefully that answered your question, but I find myself in,
Very clear.
things that feel like ruts all the time, feel overwhelmed. Like, I don't know, what I'm doing, to the point where it's like, I'm just going to continue doing what I know I need to be doing, producing, recruiting, treating people well, being there for people when they need my help. And it all, eventually I get used to all of the new responsibilities. Those become normal. A new responsibility is placed. I hit a new plateau, and it's just time to level up again.
Thanks, man.
Dillon, it's very obvious that you have a lot of self-awareness and situational awareness as well. I'm curious, man, what do you think is the number one book that has impacted your mindset the most?
So there's, I would say there's a lot that come to mind. The one book that has impacted me the most, I've probably read it 15, 16 times, is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Great book.
And they just, the 4 agreements are, I will not take anything personally. I'll be impeccable with my word. I will not make assumptions, and I always do my best. And I don't care if you're a Christian, an atheist, a Toltec, whatever, a business owner, an employee, following these 4 simple things that Don Miguel Ruiz talks about will make you so much better at all of them. And that impeccability with your word, that's one, it's following through on your own word. If you tell yourself you're going to do something. 2, it's following through. If you tell someone else you're going to do something, but it's also making sure that you're not, he calls it black magic, not spreading black magic or just like using the word. The word is powerful. When we're kids, it's like sticks and stones will make me break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Right? If you learn how to not take things personally, then words will never hurt you. But it's really hard not to take things personally, whether it's a compliment or something negative, right? Because if someone says, "Oh my gosh, you're amazing," that says a lot more about them than it does about you. If someone says, "Oh man, you suck," it says a lot more about them than it does about you. So I would say that just in terms of my mindset overall, the 4 agreements has probably had the biggest impact on my life over the longest period of time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wow.
Hey, Dillon, this is Troy Bellamy. Again, thank you for coming on and sharing some very resourceful nuggets for everyone to take on. But one of my questions is, what is some of the businesses that you tend to find yourself in, or what has made created the most success for you? What's some of the businesses that you probably target on a regular?
Yeah, well, I guess before I answer that, I just want to recognize how amazing your beard is. Thank you for your example. I would say that I go into all different types of businesses. I think that's the reason that, it doesn't matter where I am, I can produce at a high level, because it's not like, I have to go to car shops to do well. I'm not going to go to Walmarts or Targets or any of those big box businesses. But I would say that, in an ideal world, I would be talking to locally owned businesses, business owners, and employees all the time. But that's, generally where you're going to have some better quality business, that's written. It's interesting how often people ask that question, but I think if you're going out and getting 6 demos, it doesn't really matter where you're getting them. At a certain point in your career, I guess everybody on here is field director and above. So I would assume, so I wouldn't, I'm not going to go to fast food restaurants. I'm not going to go to, those places where there's just hourly minimum waged employees all the time. Now, if I need a little confidence bump or a little momentum, maybe I'll pop in there for a second and pop out of there. But the majority of my time is going to be spent with either, locally owned businesses or, salary employees, if possible, just so that business, because the business that pays is the business that stays. And I want to make sure the business that I'm writing is quality. And, I'm, even if I am protecting somebody who is a little bit lower income, I want to make sure that I'm solidifying that sale really, really well. Making sure that I'm giving them a flyer, not sending them a virtual flyer to or airdropping it to their AirBooks or their iBooks or whatever. And then writing the reason on the flyer that they said that they wanted the product and said that they decided to get it. So, but I do go to, all types of businesses there's just some that I stay away from if they're again, most of the ones that I stay away from, Walmart, Target, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, stuff like that.
I appreciate that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out of this Walmart real quick now.
My day's full of Dollar Generals, man. I don't know what's going on, man. This just ruined my day. Thanks, Dillon.
Hey, Dillon, who's the author of Mastery? Is it Robert Greene or George Leonard?
George Leonard.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dillon, this is Zach here. It's been a blessing having you and Courtney and your team last couple of years. Just you guys are the breath of fresh air that Family Heritage needed. At what age did you get really good at visioning? I feel like that's not sometimes it happens with an 8 or 9 year old who wants to be a scientist. They know that, but my guess is you weren't 8 or 9 years old thinking you'd be an insurance giant. But when did you get really good at envisioning what you wanted?
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. So have you guys seen the movie Walter Mitty? Anybody? So Walter Mitty, it's Ben Stiller. He spaces off in the middle of his office thinking about all these wild things. That was me when I was a kid, except for there wasn't any purpose or direction in the things that I was envisioning. And I went to school for art and business. So I have a very creative mind, and I'm always just kind of thinking about wild possibilities. But I guess it wasn't until probably I was 21 that I really started putting that vision into something, a vehicle that was going to help me move forward. And I've talked about this on the podcast. I don't know how many people on here will actually listen to the podcast, but there's for me, my entire life growing up, we had a decent football team. I was quarterback of the football team. I was a sponsored snowboarder, sponsored skateboarder. That was like my life growing up. That's all we did. Took half days every other day in school to go and compete in snowboarding or train for snowboarding. The confidence that I had was, it was all a facade. It was all based in ego. It was all a front that I would put on to hide all of my insecurities. And that was very much so a part of the snowboarding world. I was an introvert in an extroverted world, where, I could look cool on the mountain if I was just snowboarding and quiet, but I didn't, I had to put on a front to be in front of all these cool people that I was constantly surrounded by. And it wasn't until I really got into sales where I started developing a deep rooted security in who I am as a person. And then I got to start thinking about, okay, if I can do this, if I can become, more confident by doing things that are really hard, by doing things that are uncomfortable, what else can I do? And then just really setting goals that would align with the person that I ultimately wanted to be. Because when I was 21, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I definitely didn't think I was going to be selling insurance, but I did have a very clear picture of the man that I wanted to be, the dad that I wanted to be, the person that I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be a really good husband, and still working on that, but I think I'm getting better and better. So
what you're telling me is at my age, it's not too late.
No, it's too late.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm out of here. Good call. All right.
Hey, quick question for you, Dillon. You keep mentioning being an introvert, which I can definitely relate to. So my question for you is, how do you protect your energy during the day in the field? We see so many people every day and just going through all the different, emotions and scenarios. How do you really protect your energy and kind of remain in your peak state despite all the different people you come across?
Great question. So it's really important for me to spend that hour in the gym by myself in the morning. I get a good meditation in before I start the day, usually 10 minutes. I get a good meditation in midday just to kind of reset, recenter, and refocus. And then at the end of the days, on my work days, I'm generally, sometimes we're hanging out with people, but not Monday through Thursday. Not really. And then usually it's one night a week or maybe 2 nights a week that we'll have people over, or we'll go and, do something or go out to dinner with people. And then, weekends, either, this weekend we'll go out camping in Moab and stuff like that. But, I love my time at home. I love my time just, reading or relaxing or just spending time with my wife. So I know when I'm just, I guess, socially exhausted, and I'm willing to gift myself the time to be on my own and recharge and not feel guilty about it, and feel okay saying no to some things that the FOMO in me is wanting to go and participate in. So it's just saying no to the things that aren't necessarily going to serve you, and being willing to say no to those things regardless of what it looks like. For me, that's super important and super helpful. But I guess the meditation in the morning and the meditation midday, the workouts and all that stuff are what fill my extroverted cup.
Awesome. Thank you.
Tent or hammock?
Really great.
Dillon, tent or hammock?
Oh, so I don't know if you guys have seen the iCamper, but here, actually, I've got it right here. It's pretty sweet.
If you're in a camper, man, it's not camping. I'm sorry.
It's not. Hold on a second. You're making assumptions. Read the book.
I got friends of mine that go, I love to go camping, man. And then they roll up in an RV. I'm like, that ain't camping, bro. I agree.
That is not camping. But you're making assumptions before you know what's happening.
All right. I should.
You're showing your age right now. God,
Hey, Dillon, while you're pulling that up, can you mention
Yes.
those agreements again? Don't take anything personally.
Yep. Be impeccable with your word. Never make assumptions. And always do your best.
Thank you. The book is downloaded on Audible.
I love that.
Please do. It's phenomenal.
Or you can buy it on
All right, I'm
Amazon.
going to share.
I highly recommend
There you go.
getting the book, like the actual paper copy.
100%. Yes. The actual paper copy for the 4
notes
agreements
in it.
specifically. There's a lot of books that I will only read and not, at least the first time I'm reading them, I'll only read them. And the 4 agreements is definitely one of those.
Dillon, with my ADD, I like to listen to the Audible book while I actually read the paper book. It keeps
Okay.
me,
I can respect that.
keeps me
With my
focused.
ADD, I like to walk while I read and I read out loud.
That's awesome.
So this is a rooftop camper tent and they're
Okay.
sweet.
I like the truck too. Good Lord, dude. That's pretty badass.
Right. Oh yeah. There's the gym. There's the home gym. So, but yeah, the camper it's awesome. That's still camping, right, Todd?
That is a tent, man. I would say yes. That is pretty sweet, man. I like the truck, man. That's pretty sweet.
I like the
That's right.
wrap on it. Yeah.
Yeah, got to be repping it out there. People ask questions about it, and then it's then I give them a recruiting card, and we'll see what happens.
I think Van could do that in the Range Rover. Put a tent up on the top of that thing. The Land Cruiser, though, Van, that'd be a good idea for the Land Cruiser.
Hey, it's almost fully restored. So we're going to know here in just a few minutes. We'll get that.
And I've got a call in 2 minutes. So if there's one more question, I could probably answer that, but otherwise probably got to pop off.
Are you talking to me or somebody else?
Dude,
Awesome.
Dillon, thank you, man, for being on.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you,
Dylan,
dude.
I was going to say this to everybody, the podcast. That's your podcast is great. So little plug.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
That's
Dylan.
yeah. I hope so. We've got a lot of phenomenal guests that make it really good. So I appreciate you saying that.
Dillon, I'm looking forward to the next episode. And man, I say thank you. We planned on 30 minutes. You gave us twice that much today. And I really, really do appreciate you hopping on here and kicking off Q3 as strong as I can imagine. And looking forward to future ventures, and can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks and in Dallas and celebrate a great first half of the year and get geared up for the next half. So thank you, brother. And we'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dylan.
guys.
Leaders,
Have a
let's
good
go
one.
get through